YouTube! I am Pinstar, and this is Evil Genius 2 Press Build Preview Quick Tip. Over the next few videos, I will be giving you some specific quick tips to help you get started in building your evil lair right when you get your claws on the game on March 30th. So, what is Evil Genius 2? Well, it is a lair building take over the world 'em up, where you take control of one of 4 evil geniuses and build up their domain in an attempt to slowly take over the world. Along the way, you'll need to build and furnish rooms, use your financial, spatial, temporal, and electrical resources wisely, all while protecting yourself from your secret lair from the agents of justice who will occasionally come by. While the game releases on March 30th, Rebellion have given me an early press copy for free. Thank you very much. And I've been told that I can only show you 1 hour of content total. So in this and the next few videos, I'll be splitting that 1 hour up into a series of quick tips to help you get your base built right when you start hitting the ground running. Today's topic is about the various resources that you need to keep an eye on when planning new expansions to your evil lair. Money is the easiest to account for. Everything costs money, and when you plan a room, it will tell you how much it will cost.
Not enough gold to complete this construction.
Pro tip: you can still plan out a room that you can't actually afford. Your minions just won't buy some of the objects that you can afford until you can actually afford them, but useful for getting the groundwork laid for things that you'll have the income for later on. Once you've gathered enough money to afford all of the buildings, your minions will go off to purchase them and install them in your newly planned rooms automatically without you, the player, having to remind them or reboot the project. Very handy and cuts down on the micromanagement. The second resource is power. Now, not every object that you build requires power, but many of them do. You can see an object's power requirement down here. The radio repeater costs us 5 electricity to keep running. And each of in our electrical room, we have generators here, each generating 10 power. You can see how much power you're producing and thus how much are using, thus how much surplus you have. And the game will give you a friendly warning if you're about to plan out a room that would draw more power than you can produce. Now, if you exceed your power level, this will severely hamper your base-wide operations. You basically go into blackout mode with just emergency lighting, and very few items are able to function until you can get the juice turned back on. The other reasons for a power shortage would be if an enemy agent has gotten into your power station and blown some of them up, which some of them are wont to do. However, I have a little tip to soften the blow of a power outage and get your base as a whole working better than it was before, to buy yourself some time to actually get the generators back online or get more of them built. As you can see, we've after ripping up some of our power stations, we are now a 5 power deficit. However, there's a little trick to get yourself back online in a pinch while you wait for new power stations to be constructed, and that is you can toggle on or off the power usage for individual power drawers. So we turn that off, and the rest of the base comes online. Useful to take out something that is less important so that the rest of the base can function until you get your power back online. You can always turn it back on once the power situation's been sorted out. The resource is minions. Many objects need to be operated by your minions, some by generic yellow suit operations, and others requiring a specialist. The third resource to keep in mind is minions, specifically minions that are needed to operate the various devices, buildings, and other objects within your lair. Not everything requires a minion to operate it, but many of them do, and you have a finite supply of minions. granted a supply that will regenerate over time for free. You can also buy minions ahead of time if you want to speed up how many that you're getting. But yeah, they're disposable, but there is a limit to them. So keep in mind the number of minions that you have when placing objects that require staffing. Another thing you can do is tell certain minions to prioritize things. Every single minion has randomly generated traits. Some of these don't really do anything, but some of these do. So you can sort of tailor make some of the minions. The control room and wants to be so Olivia here. We can tell Olivia to prioritize the control room. Since Olivia is so good and loves the control room, we'd like her to spend time in the control room. You don't have to do this. The minions will automatically assign themselves to tasks as needed. They took a very, anti-micromanagey approach. You can micromanage if you really want to, but in the absence of that, you don't have to manually select minions to assign them. They'll staff the things you build. Just keep in mind how many minions you have when you're building things. The last tip is space. The last resource you need to keep in mind is space. The amount of space a room takes up is a resource that you need to be mindful of and manage. While you have a huge amount of space you can build in, and this is just one of the floors. While the amount of space that a room takes up does have a minor impact on its cost, deleting floor tiles and digging out space is not really the biggest driver of cost. Not for most rooms. There are a few exceptions to that rule. But your size consideration for a room is important, and bigger is not always better. While a larger room can fit more objects, some rooms don't need to have a ton of objects. They quickly become redundant by having that many of the same thing in the same place. Whereas other rooms are in fact much better, larger, such as the power room, which doesn't see a lot of foot traffic. The other thing you need to keep in mind is the larger the rooms, the larger the travel distance between them as your minions go from A to B. It also spreads your defenses out thin. In a later episode, we will talk about cameras and positioning, and the larger your base, the harder it is to keep an eye on everything. So keep your space needs in mind. One of the tricks that I'm going to show you in our next video is what I call hermit crabbing, where you take a room that has outgrown its size and put it somewhere else in a larger format, but repurpose the old small shell in a way that some other room will find use for it. Now, one thing that we've done here is we've planned ourselves out a new barracks, a new larger barracks. So in here, we can now sell off all of the furniture in this barracks and turn it into something else, like maybe a laboratory like they've been asking me for. But the actual makeup of our laboratory is going to be the topic of our next video. So if you guys like this episode and you want to see more like it, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and please share this with a friend. I'm hoping to do this series in this similar style as my quick tip 2-point hospital videos, since you guys really seem to like those, and these are a frankly similar style game as far as art style and base building, but obviously different company and very different goal. I hope to so until next time, this has been Pinstar, signing out. See ya!